Testing 1 2 1 2. I am testing my voice value and this laptop value. See if you're able to hear me over this track. And then this happens. Uh-oh, uh-oh. What's going on, y'all? This is J Watt Beats. And in this video, I'll be breaking down the chord progression I used for this track. So what I'm going to do is section this off in 3 parts. First, I'll be playing you the track, give you a feel for how the track sounds, how it feels. Then I'll be breaking down the chords and its voicings. And then the third part, I'll be breaking down the theory to the best of my ability. So without further ado, here is part 1. Alright, so there is the neo soul like track for you. Has a really smooth feel, real emotional feel. So part 2, here I'm going to be breaking down the chords and their voicings. I'll be getting to the theory afterwards. So as for the first part, let me make this into a pattern mode. As for the first part, we have a D9 sus. The D9 sus chord. We got the D in the root. This is going up in thirds, just without the third. It's D, A being the flat sevenths. No, A being the fifth, my mistake. C being the flat seven, E being the 9, G being the sus 4. You can also see an A minor 7 chord on top of a D bass. Hold up. Sorry, I got the filter automation on. Let me mute this. Yeah, it is still on. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Forgive me for the inconvenience. Let's get back to this. So once again, we got a D9 sus chord. After this, we go into an A minor 6 add 11. Pretty complex name for a chord, but not too complex. We got the A in the bass, got the G up next, which is the minor 7. We got C, the minor 3rd, D, the 11, and then F sharp, the 13. Once again, you can look at this as an G major 7 sus 4 over an A bass. That's even more complex. Next, we have a G minor 7 flat 5. We got a G minor 7 flat 5. This would be the next. We got the G sharp in the bass. We got the B, which is the minor 3rd. We got D, which is the flat 5. F sharp being the flat 7. flat 5. D sharp would be the natural 5, but instead we have it flat. The next chord after this would be a C sharp or a D flat altered 7 altered chord, which would entail a sharp 5 and a sharp 9. This is what it sounds like. We got C sharp in the bass. We got the third up next. We got the 7 grace noting into the root again, then going back down to the 7 and then down to the sharp 5, and we got the sharp 9 on top, E. Going into an F sharp minor 9, essentially. Next, we have an E13 sus. We have a lot of sus chords, quite a few sus chords in this. We got an E13 sus. You can also look at this as a D major 7 over an E bass, but really the D is the flat 7 of E. We got the F sharp, which is the 9, A being the sus 4, and C sharp being the 6. Then this chord going into an A major 9, going up a third. These are really standard voicings. Really standard voicings. This quick chord right here is a G major 7 over C sharp. It's acting like a G major 7 with a C sharp in the bass, leading into a D minor 9. Next, after this chord, we have G sharp minor 7 in the first bar. We had a G minor 7 with a flat 5. This time we got a G minor 7 with a natural 5. Then going into a G dominant 7 with a flat 5. Going into an F sharp major or G flat major 9. Sounds like this. And then the next line, the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bars is pretty much the same. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The next 6 and the next 4.5 bars is pretty much the same. This time, for the beginning of the 5th bar, for the 4th bar going into the 5th bar, this chord, instead of a G minor 7, we have a C sharp 9 sus. At first we started with a D 9 sus. Now we're going into a C sharp 9 sus. See, we have a lot of these sus chords. It's a really nice sound. I love these. We got a C sharp 9 sus going up a third, just without the third from the root. And then we have the same G dominant 7 with the flat 5. And then we have this chord going into an F sharp major 7. And instead of it leaving off on an F sharp major 7, we'll leave off on an F sharp 9, dominant 9 chord. It's a pretty funky sound. The natural 7 goes down to the flat 7, and the melody line still goes from the third to the 9 of this chord. This time, just the 7 goes down. This gets flattened. Alright, so up next, I'll be going over the theory with you. First off, first and foremost, the majority of this piece is in A major, although the first two chords are nowhere near that. So for the first two chords, the D9 sus going into an A minor 6 with an added 11th, that was just a choice of, that was just based on taste. Originally, I was going to do an A minor 7 to a D dominant 7. Which actually sounds pretty dope. I might just maybe switch that up. The reason I came up with this is because I experimented with the harmonies. I didn't come up with the bass, and then I just expounded on it even further. I'll be posting up a video soon of me expounding upon this harmonic idea. I did it while I initially made this track. It's pretty much a completed product. So let's try to throw in chord functions. It's kind of weird, but the reason I went for this because this A for the A minor 6 at 11 leaded really nicely into the G sharp minor 7, the flat 5. And then we have the C going down to the B, and initially I had the root doubled. It would sound like this. Yeah, so this is going up to the root, this is going down to the root. It's really sets you up for what's the next chord once you hear it. So then the next three chords literally really belongs to A major. These first two chords, they're really outside of it, but these next three chords are within the key of A major. These three chords are actually doing a 2-5-1 to the relative minor of A major, which would be F sharp. Usually when you have a 2-5-1, a minor 2-5-1, the 2 is a half diminished chord, a half diminished seventh chord. The 5 is a dominant chord. Usually would have, a dominant chord with a sharp 5 and a sharp 9 really sets you up for a minor 2-5-1 progression. It's just you can feel it. It just lets you know that this is a minor progression. So then the 1 is a minor chord. Let's gonna have you listen to it. So then after 2-5-1 in the relative minor, F sharp minor, then we sort of do a 2-5-1 to the 6. Sorry. Then we sort of do a 2-5-1 to the 4 of A major. We have the 5 sus of A going into the root, which is A. And then we have A major, then we have A dominant essentially. We just don't have the root in there. We got the 7 of 4, the key of A major, the 7 of 4, which would be C sharp minor, 7 flat 5. This is kind of a weird voicing, but if we add an 8 in the bass right here, we would have the root, we would have the 3rd, we would have the flat 7, we would have the 9, we would have the 11th, and then we'll have the 13th. But we don't have the A in the bass. We just have everything else besides the root going into D major 9, the 4 of A major. And then we do another 2-5-1 back to the sixth chord, but instead of a minor 2-5-1 where the 2 is a minor 7 flat 5 and the 1 is minor, this time we have a natural G sharp minor. As a matter of fact, we have a G sharp minor 9. And instead of going to C sharp, instead of going to C sharp 7, we substitute the C sharp with a dominant chord tritone away. So originally we had C sharp as a dominant chord, but then we replaced it with a chord, a tritone away. The tritone is 6 semitones or 3 whole tones. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yeah, that's that, giving us a G dominant 7. This concept, this technique is called tritone substitution because we replace the chord with a tritone away from it, thus leading it to F sharp dominant 7. Sorry, F sharp major 9. F sharp major 9. And then it does the same thing. Now this technique here is actually called a chromatic median. The reason it's called chromatic is because anything outside of diatonic would be chromatic. Will involve some sort of chromatic alteration, and that chromatic alteration would be A sharp or B flat. A sharp does not belong in the key of A major, so this median is altered. And another thing, median chord is either the third chord or the sixth chord within any major or minor key. So within A major, the third chord, the 3 chord would be C sharp minor, and the 6th chord would be F sharp minor. And instead of it being F sharp, instead of it being F sharp minor, we make it into an F sharp major. Thus, the chromatic median concept. So then it does pretty much the same thing. Going down the line. So this right here is pretty similar to the first instance. Now this one right here, it's like it's already ready to go into the 6th chord, since C sharp is the 5 of F sharp. Set that up. Set that up. Set up the sus chord, which is just found something fascinating. We have the G sharp minor here, but instead we add a C sharp in it, instantly making it a C sharp 9 sus chord. Instant transformation. You can use this concept in any time of your track. And this time we have C sharp. We have C sharp minor 7. We got C sharp 9 sus going into a G dominant 7 sharp 5 with 7 in the bass. You call it G sharp minor 7 flat, G sharp dominant 7 flat 5 over, a G dominant 7 flat 5 with an F in the bass leading up into F sharp major. Now this instance here where we turn the F sharp major into an F sharp dominant chord, honestly it just sounds good to me. It sounds really funky and I just like the sound of it. I just like the sound of it. We definitely use this concept anytime. So hence the progression. Now once again, the main the tonal center is generally in A major. That's kind of the focus here. That's generally the focus. Now the melody that you heard actually goes like this. Let me solo out the chords from, let me solo out the chord and melody. Let's delve into this a little bit. So essentially, the lead is mimicking the top voice of each chord. So the D9 sus has the sus4 on top, which is G. Let's actually mute the lead and listen to the top voice of the piano for a little bit, and we can hear how the lead is mimicking the top voice of the E piano. So really it only mimics the first couple of bars. Here's a compositional rule. Don't be afraid to layer any melodies with others. Don't be afraid to mimic any melodies or top voice leading with another sound. You just have your melody right there. Decided to use it in this instance. So yeah, once it lands on the C sharp, that's where the lead does its own thing. I heard something else a little funky. Let's get to it. This right here. That would make the C sharp 9 sus into a C sharp 13 sus, because this A sharp would be the 13 of C sharp 9 sus. We have everything except for the third. Essentially have a G sharp minor 9 on top of a C sharp bass. That's one thing. Then we go into this G sharp. This, mind you, that this whole melody line is, the majority of it is based on A major, except for this A sharp right here. Then it goes back to A major. Another compositional technique, you can make your melodies extremely, or 99.9% of the melody diatonic, meaning conforming to a certain scale. But underneath it, you can add so many different harmonies, so many different colors underneath it, and it'll all work, instead of the melody being out of whack, out of key, and the harmonies just switching here, there, and everywhere. The only time I break out of this diatonic melody is with this A sharp. It then just lands right back into diatonic melody of A major. So then, another funky thing, we have this G sharp, which would be the 9, the flat 9 of G dominant 7 with the flat 5, and then it lands on F sharp. Now an F sharp on top of a G dominant chord, we have three notes in semitones. So we have the G, which is the root of the chord. We have the G sharp, which is the melody line here, and then the melody line going down to F sharp. Now, really, the F sharp is not really conforming to the chord; it's an anticipation to the next chord, which is F sharp major. So another compositional technique you could use anticipations, which sounds kind of it's another form of tension where the melody line conforms to the harmony of the following chord, although it's not played yet. Then the resolution comes when you hear the next chord. You're like, okay, that's what the melody line is mimicking or where it belongs to, what it's following. So yes, that's another compositional technique. It's another form of tension to have an anticipation because you're waiting for that resolve. Like, where's this note coming from? And then you hear the next chord, you're like, that's where it belongs to. So yep, that is the chord progression. If you want to check out the rest of it, you could click on the links below or on the top right of your screen. If you like this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and be sure also feel free to subscribe to the channel for upcoming beat making videos and compositional videos. Until then, this is J Music, and thank you for watching.